Oh. Recording. Is it recording it?
Yes.
That's awkward. Thank you for warning me.
It's in the email too.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not sure we've met.
I got my presents
Where?
Right.
in my truck.
Okay, I don't see anybody. Oh, wait,
I was gonna say, I can run
participants.
quick, grab it.
I need to let them in. Admit,
Admit.
admit. Okay, I was hoping Kurt and.
Have it face whoever's talking.
Okay, you guys are all AgMag too? Okay, okay.
Mitch thinks he is.
Okay.
What a jackwagon.
All right, so I'm Liz. I saw a lot of you guys this year, some not, I assume because not all of you guys had school in and had a group going at the time. But you all participate in normal circumstances, correct? For AgMech? Okay. So I had some sharp learning lessons this year with AgMech, and I wanted to join you guys together because I saw some glaring issues in the contest that I wanted to try to rectify and assist in that kind of thing. One of the things that popped out immediately was that your guys's help me with the verbiage on this, but your areas, your
Skill areas.
Thank you. Your skill areas. So I got the contest coordinators. So Kurt, Chad, Steve, all those guys. Randy couldn't help this year, but I started coordinating with those guys over email and they kept asking me, well, what's the skill areas? And I'm like, literally the way I identify different screwdrivers, one that makes the T and one that makes the L. So I am not your girl to ask that question to because it's all Greek to me. So I kept emailing around and it was like this circle of no information was coming out. And they're like, I don't know, nobody knew the areas and that kind of thing. And at some point I'm like, guys, we just got to come up with something so that we can plan, because until they have those areas, they can't figure out the different areas for, you know, what should be composed in the areas. So historically, have you guys set those areas for 3 years out ever as a team?
Nationals does.
So that's another problem.
Yeah,
Nationals.
has been.
Nationals doesn't return phone calls. Learned that the hard way. Had to finally intervene and got the call back because they weren't returning Steve's call. So finally I got involved and they returned my call. Nationals was doing the same thing, dragging their feet, not setting the areas, not setting the areas. So the problem is that it's at the state level, it's putting undue pressure on the contest coordinators because they don't feel comfortable setting those skill areas for you guys. Yes, please.
However,
Yes.
our delay is because Nationals doesn't have anything, even for this year's contest.
Yes.
We're doing nothing.
Agreed. That is totally
Okay.
factual.
And so every year, well, District 1 probably has the most competitors that, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong,
Okay.
but we sit down a week or 2 weeks after Nationals, and whoever went to Nationals is most of the time from District 1. And we ask, before we leave, we ask, what's gonna happen next year? When they tell us the John Deere, well, this year is John Deere's, or that year is John Deere tractors.
Right.
There's supposed to be 3 other items that year,
Right.
okay? We practice for all of them. And it ended up being something changed.
New Holland or something like that.
Yeah,
Branson.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a forklift,
Right.
and a skid steer, and then a tractor.
Or an AC
So
weld.
Right.
We try to prepare to be the best at nationals. And I think in the past, it's been Garrett and Daryl who have kind of driven the conversation. I don't like that. Okay?
I agree with that. And that's why I wanted to have a conversation with everybody in here because I think that it's an unfair advantage of the people who set the contest areas are the only ones in the know from the get-go. And that's why I wanted to have the conversation of let's set the areas for 3 years out. And I understand trying to match to nationals. But until we can get somebody on the board at nationals that's going to inspire change of this caliber right here of, no, we need to set it years out. We need to let people know so they can get ready and educate their kids on it. I think at a first point, we just have to do it at the state level, you know? And the next question is to what you're saying at the national level, who can we send on to serve on the national committee? Because clearly the national committee needs some help. And so we need to send somebody up. And so who do you guys think is the best person to inspire change like this at that national level? Sorry, I ask hard questions. But I see it holistically, where we can't just change it at the state level, you know?
But the people with the most experience back there, Garrett and Wertheis and Daryl.
By a long shot.
Will they allow at the national level, will they allow an advisor to serve on the national committee? Or does it need to be an industry partner to do so? In your experience, do you guys know?
Well,
No.
the
Have you
guy
ever
that's,
looked
the
into that?
guy that's in charge of it is,
And I filled out the application, never heard a word back.
Typically been industry or retired ag teachers, not,
or college professors.
yeah, but not,
Yeah,
I was gonna say, JD would probably do it.
Yeah.
I know he tried to get agronomy, he was agronomy and wasn't, but I think he would.
but not usually
Like
competing.
if it can be an advisor.
a good fit of, yeah, bringing in, okay.
Or the guy coordinating our state conference.
Yeah.
Like.
Steve,
Ben Walker.
I agree. Because Steve was the one that actually said it the best that I understood it and was like, yeah, that's a huge thing. He was talking about the New Holland piece of equipment and the fact that it hadn't been released, that was the area until right up until the time frame to go back to nationals. And he said to the guys, he goes, okay, New Holland's spending all this money to sponsor the contest and to provide the equipment. Don't you think that they would get more out of it if they told us a year out, this is the piece of equipment, and then y'all go deep dive into that piece of equipment in every single one of your classrooms across the state, across the nation. And New Holland gets all this bang for their buck by doing that. So we need somebody that can articulate it like that and be like, guys, stop. We have to plan ahead of time. And it needs to be fairly put out for everyone. Because I'm not a fan of only 3 people knowing and then those are the 3 people winning. That's not fair. Or that sets a bad taste in the mouth of everybody. So what I would like to do is collectively, you guys sit down and say, these are what our areas are going to be, at least for this year. And we know going in, everybody knows going in. It's on the website, it's published. And tackle the national piece and see if we can't get them to change in the same way. But we have to do this for our contest coordinators at the state level because we're putting too much burden on them. They're not comfortable setting these areas.
One year they made them raise the bucket 6 inches to 12 inches. So I get it. Raise it 6 to 12. You know, they- sorry, yeah.
Oof. After all
He was
that.
on team 504.
Damn, yeah. After all that.
So any equipment we have is always gonna be parts that use, that is safe assumption.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's gonna be parts that use.
Yep.
And then we've also, when they did the hydraulics, one year they did the hydraulics on the forklift. They kind of had. Yeah. Very technical forklift, and they had some major extra stuff on it. Calculate.
Equipment like a self-operating one. You always adjust to it.
Well, they like, probably the best year they did in tractors, they had test voltage of the battery. And they had to troubleshoot like on the manual, they had to figure out what part number or something was. What to use as well, electrical parts of it. But you gotta remember, we also only have 25 minutes.
But it's not gonna be like something else.
Check food levels.
It's gonna be like tractor forklifts.
We want to set the 2023 one.
Yes, please. No, you're doing a really good job at it, so keep going.
I stepped up.
We have
What's-
this conversation every year in November, so we're glad we're doing it.
Why do you have it in
So talk
November?
Week after nationals.
Yep,
But you don't have everybody here. You have it
We
at.
set our
in our district.
Our district contest.
Oh. So have you guys ever had it at the state level like this at summer conference? Like
Talk
this?
about this?
Yeah.
No.
And that's kind of what I figured was happening. When I stepped into it, it didn't look like there had been the state support.
We send a thing out to the people
First
that
year's
usually
tractor.
compete in.
Yeah,
In
Right.
2023
Don't
is
send
what we're
a
at.
listserv usually.
Yeah.
Send people that do it.
Barns.
Like I'll send stuff to Lisa
yeah,
about what you're talking about.
right.
And what I hate happening is some people in the past have inside track knowledge on it. But
Yep.
anytime that I've communicated with Steve or anybody else, email went to about 8 or 10 different people.
See, and I agree with that. I feel like there needs to be full transparency. Everybody needs to know, and that's why I wanted to have the conversation here with all of you guys, is that I want everybody knowing the same information. I want everybody, having equal access. And then once you've typed that up, so I don't, misprint it. Come on, dude, come on. You gotta go that extra mile because I'm gonna have a misprint. You guys are gonna laugh at me really bad. I'm gonna put it on the website. I'm gonna say 2022, here's this. 2023, here's this. Okay. So do 2023. Keep going. You're doing great.
Building structure.
For machinery.
Oh, we're already talking machinery. so- Yeah, there's the
For Baylor, we did a square this year.
Spare should be 5 years out then,
So
right?
Baylor or Slaughter.
Yeah.
Trailer would be easier. For everybody.
probably.
Well.
You take your
I
pick,
think
which kind.
If we gave them either one, the place hosting it, kind of has to determine when they get them. Right? I'm sure they can.
Well, and it just may be round, it may be square, maybe a little dinky. We just have to be ready for that. I would say.
Well, I'd like to know if we can get a square Baylor.
Oh, I would too.
But some of this stuff is like, we're general now, so narrow it down a couple months before the contest.
Four. Oh, what's the next year?
For 2024.
2023.
I know, so what's four?
Now we're moving on.
No, we don't have that much time because they're coming in.
Well, I would think.
Forklift in 2024?
Yep.
Done?
23. Baylor.
Baylor.
Did you get the other areas?
Well, 6 will be, they'll be back to sprayer, so we just need 5. What's left?
We just did.
You can do that rotation, which would be 5 with that sprayer.
You're gonna do 4?
You would be, no kids would be in there.
I usually do that.
Yeah.
I'm in a meeting. What do you need? I'll call you back up. Since you get it. Okay, all right, back.
24, no, yeah. Not yet. Not yet.
Do you have a computer?
Here, Todd.
Get back to sprayer.
Yep, I know where I have one. I'm just gonna give him mine. I'm gonna get a Word document open for him.
I feel
Here we go. Sorry, give me some. New. Where you wanna sit? You wanna sit with me?
Sit over here.
It is. I think it used to be this. Plant. Structure. It used to be.
Okay.
Can I give that to you now or you can leave it now?
Don't give it to me because I'll lose it. I'm leaving it in the office.
Thank you so much. Seriously, you have no idea how bad I can screw it up. Like, you think it's funny?
No, you're
You
fine.
guys would die laughing. You'd give me the faux pas award. Like, that's bad. I usually try to avoid things I know I'm going to be embarrassed by. And I can sniff them out pretty good.
And then I started, when can I come back? That's funny.
Oh, one thing we didn't talk about was team activity.
In what regard?
Because normally we do a team activity. It's usually like a financial. Usually it's a math problem. Like they have to develop either bill of materials or calculate how much concrete or. I got several examples of the last 5 or 6 years to give. But knowing. What is that? Oh, that's me. I'll take it.
How goes? Congratulations. Big metropolis. Welcome to Earth.
Thank you so much. Oh, hey, Mitch, I need one of those decks back.
Yeah, I echo your total frustration with nationals because it is it's like my kids are asking, when are we going to practice? When are we going to practice? I said, I don't know what to practice. I asked, my first year back there was 2017, and Garrett was in the room, and I was sitting in the front row because Garrett put the fear of God in me that I need to come back with info. And I'm like, okay, so I said, so is there a way to know a year ahead of time what it is? Because I know what Garrett said the year before to the New Holland guy, because he told me that.
Right.
So I figured, all right, a new guy from Washington.
Yeah.
Well, they looked at me like I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. And they said, well, it all depends on product availability in the area. And usually, John Deere is over in friggin' Illinois. And they
Right.
brought 12 tractors in.
Right.
Okay. Well, we didn't know we were doing that till a month ago. I said, you could have known that a year ago.
Yeah. It's just planning. So here's my thoughts on this. I feel like the people who are at least serving in the role at the national level that are, making things happen. I don't feel like if you're not putting in that, if you're not investing that kind of energy into planning it out ahead of time and who's going to provide what, I don't think they really want to do it. I don't think they want to do it.
I don't think they do either.
I just
I got the hint that they put on a good show there. And they, the forestry guys are all energetic and answer any question you have and ask to help.
Excited.
AgMech, yeah, and want to be there. AgMech is like, these guys are just like, this is my third job and it's on the bottom of my list.
Yes.
And it's just so frustrating.
Hey, let me end the Zoom thing. Sorry.